Well, today I want to talk about, I made a video the other day, man, and I can't remember what it was called, but I was just talking about like the times we're in. Yeah, I appreciate putting that link up there, Joe, that Discord link. Y'all brothers that don't have the Discord link, go and get that link signed up, and we'll start that chat in Discord, man, because I think that's a good idea. But today, man, I wanted to talk about now is the time to walk on water, right? Now, in the book of John 14 and 12, it says this. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me, it says, the works that I do, he shall do also, and greater works than these shall he do, right? Now, this is not by far not a Jesus debate, right? Because I understand that when it comes to Jesus, the messenger, I understand now that there are two sides of the fence people sit on. Like some people say, okay, you know what? This was an actual man that roamed the planet. He had 12 disciples and he was just showing us the way, right? And some people say that this Jesus didn't exist. This Jesus was simply representing the highest version of ourselves, telling us how we should supposed to live, right? But either way you look at it, man, like this shows us the power that we have, the authority that we have as human beings. This shows us that we have the ability to cure all diseases, to heal depressions, to fix money issues and any other thing else, man. Like we have to know we have that power. And I wanted to start right there, man, because brothers, if we don't know like who we are, if we don't know what authority we have, if we don't know like what power we have on this planet, then the whole conversation is null and void, man. Like starting there. Like, and that goes really anybody in this group, in this circle, man. Like we have to know who we are and what we're capable of. And the reason I say we have to know that is because if we don't know that, then we're gonna start falling subject to all the stuff that we hear, on the news, in the media, And I say in the news, but to be honest, I don't even watch the news, and I'm still up to date with everything that's going on pretty much. You get on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube. I know Instagram for sure. If you're on Instagram, you're pretty much up to date with about 90% of what's going on the news. So when I say the news, I'm talking about all platforms now, right? If you don't know who you are and what you're capable of and what we're capable of overcoming, brothers, you will fall subject to it, man. I've been hearing all about, I know the stock market is looking like crap right now. I think it's, some portions of it have hit some lows over the last, few years. I've heard a lot of people in certain areas saying that rent is going up. Some people are coming in and re-sign their leases, man, and their rent is going up 30, 40, almost 50% in some areas. I know housing prices are high. Food shortages is still common. I saw something about I'm not sure if they stopped making baby formula or something around baby formula, and all kind of madness, brothers. I'm telling you, if you don't know who you are, brothers, these times will send you to the bottom, and you can never come out of it, man. But the thing I like about these times, brothers, and when I say this, like I'm not even exaggerating. Like when these times happen, like there is some discomfort. But I promise, man, every single time this happens, like I know what this means now. Like this is when life takes off, man. Every time, whether it's on a worldwide global level or whether it's on a personal level, every time my world or the world gets shaken up and all this, chaos starts to come, brother, that's a sign that the world is about to take off, And in the video I made the other day, I talked about like in 2008 when I lost everything and came back out of that thing, like my life elevated. I talked about it in 2014 when a similar thing happened and came out of that, man, and my life elevated. 2009 2020 when the pandemic came, and that's when I was able to step away from my job. It's like every time the world shakes up, I understand what it means now. So when I hear about all this stuff, brothers, we have to almost rejoice in it. We have to almost rejoice in it, man. And I say it's time for us to walk on water, but because when you read in the Bible, that whole scenario of Jesus walking on the water, man, like that whole scenario had gems in it on how to overcome it, brothers. Gems in it, man. And to be honest, most people would read that and not even really pick up on the gems. But what we've covered in this circle, once we read this again, man, it shows you how to walk on water, brother. It shows you how to walk on water. Life happens after the storms, man. Let's look at Matthew 14:22. That's the whole scenario, right? When the whole walking on water scenario. I just want to go through it real quick. Verse 22 says, immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side while he sent the multitudes away. And it said, and when he had sent the multitudes away, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. Now, when the evening came, he was alone there, but the boat now was in the middle of the sea, tossed by the waves, for the wind was contrary. Then it says, now in the fourth watch on the night, Jesus went to them. Well, it says now in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went to them walking on the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, it is a ghost. And they cried out for fear. But immediately Jesus spoke to them, saying, be of good cheer. It is I. Do not be afraid. Now it's easy to get lost in the sauce of reading that, brothers, and not really pick up on the gems. But like I said, like once we read that again, man, and kind of just go over everything we've talked about, brother, it tells you step by step how to walk on water, how to overcome life's challenges, how to overcome chaos, man. And you got to pay attention to three things he did, brothers. Three things he did. Now, the first thing he did was he moved in the knowing. The first thing he did, man, was he moved in the knowing, right? If you read the very first line, it says, immediately Jesus made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side. Now think about that, man. And I'm assuming when it says they were speaking to the multitude, I'm assuming that it was like one of those, grand sermons, like a church service, and everything was over. And Jesus said, all right, you know what? It's time to bounce. Like y'all go ahead and get in the boat and head to the other side, and I'll be over there. So I can only assume there was confusion from the jump. You know, him telling the brothers to get in the boat and dip. And I'm sure they were like, what in the cornbread hell are you talking about, right? You know, so when I say walk in the knowing, brothers, it's almost like when I say walk in the knowing, like we have to like Babe Ruth it. I'm sure maybe y'all younger brothers aren't familiar with the whole Babe Ruth scenario, man. But do y'all remember that scenario when Babe Ruth was pointing at the fence? I'm sure y'all seen some black and white videos of it if you're unaware of it, right? But when I say walk in the knowing, going back to brother Babe Ruth, man, what happened with Babe Ruth, man? If y'all don't follow baseball, Babe Ruth was one of the big time ball players back in the late 20s, early 30s, right? World Series, big game, right? Babe Ruth was like the man. He was like the LeBron of baseball back in the days, right? And it said the Babe Ruth got a pitch from, I can't think of the pitcher's name. It said Babe Ruth got a pitch, man, and the first pitch was a strike. And they said, look at my ring off, brothers. It said all the fans, everybody start heckling him, start talking noise. They said the pitcher threw a second pitch. It was another strike. And they said everybody was talking about Babe Ruth, is not what he thought he was. We in the big game. Babe Ruth is finna sell us short. And they said before the next pitch, man, Babe Ruth just pointed toward the center field, man, letting them know like, hey, this one is about to go. Do you know how much balls it takes to do something like that, bro? So when I say walk in the knowing, man, like, see, this is the thing, like it's easy for us to get a win. It's easy for us to land a new job. It's easy for us to get a bad wife or to get a bag or to do whatever. And after the fact, man, we pump our chest out. But one thing you notice Jesus did in the book of Matthew, man, he walked in that knowing. He pulled the Babe Ruth, in other words. He says, you know what? Like, I know what's about to take place. Like, y'all go ahead and go. Like, I'm going to be there. Like, mark my word, man. So one thing we have to do, brothers, is walk in the knowing. And when I say that, like in the midst of all this stuff that we see, because it's to the point now where it's going to affect the majority of people. Everybody's going to have money tied up in the stock market. Everybody's going to have money tied up, in something. Everybody's going to be needing groceries. Everybody's going to be putting gas in their car. Everybody's going to be paying a mortgage or a rent. So the thing that this world, the agenda behind this world, it's going to touch everybody. But brothers, I'm telling you, to walk on water, we have to walk in the knowing beforehand. Like the way we see ourselves coming out of this thing, we have to already be talking about it. We have to already be moving in it. We have to already be speaking from that place, man. And it said, Jesus said, hey, now y'all go ahead and get in the boat, brothers. Like I'll be there. Like, I know it sounds impossible, but I'll be there, man. I'm telling you this, bro. I'm telling you this. This is the time, man, where people elevate and separate. Like, this is the time. When everybody's winning, everybody's on an upward trend. But when things plateau or when the world starts taking a nosedive, this is the time, man, where I'll say the word believers, whatever you want to call that word, those in the know, this is when they elevate, man. And the first thing we have to do, brothers, is walk in the knowing, move in the knowing, man. Moving that final energy. The second thing he did, brothers, was he went into his sanctum sanctorum. Now we had a whole week's talk about the sanctum sanctorum. And for the brothers that's just now chiming in, I don't want to give a whole spiel on it, but just to tell you what the sanctum sanctorum is, it's like that's the space, you know, within a man's heart that's only reserved for him and the Creator, him and God, the Most High, right? You know, and I've said this for a long time, like it doesn't matter who it is, your mother, your father, your kids, not even your wife. Like, nobody's allowed in that space but you and the Creator. You know, that sanctum sanctorum, man, because what that space is where, like, that's where the ego and the Christ mind come together. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's that space that you can think with your Christ mind and operate in this ego. And you know what the Bible says, when two come together, like, I am there also. So that's why you can't contaminate that sanctum sanctorum, brothers. But it said the messenger went to the sanctum sanctorum. What it says is, in this verse 23, it says, and when he sent the multitude away, he went up to the mountain by himself to pray. Brothers, we have to understand that, you know, like the word says, we have to send the multitude away. You know what I'm saying? Like when y'all, I'm telling you this, bro, when you go to work, and I'm telling you, because I've been in this scenario many times, when you go to work, man, and everybody's talking about the economy is doing this and they hearing about layoffs, brothers, you have to send that nonsense away, man. Your boys that you go out and drink with, you know, the boys you go out and smoke with, chop with, club with, sometimes them brothers are going to be the very ones that plant seeds in you, man. I'm telling you, you have to be able to go home at night, man, and send the multitude away. Your wife and kids, when they come talking that negative stuff, what they heard on the news and what they heard, you know, the president's about to do and da-da-da-da-da. Brother, you have to, I'm telling you, man, the most powerful thing we have as men is to be able to operate in this world and at the end of the day, sit still and go in that space. Because once we go in that space, whatever we say is what a thing is. And I say us as men, I don't, to be honest, I don't know if everybody's built like that. I don't know, because when I talk about the hierarchy, when I talk about God, man, wife, kids, all that, like I don't know if women are to operate like that. I really don't know, because women are supposed to fall up under the guidance and leadership of a man. So I don't know. I can only speak for men, brother. The most powerful thing we have is that heart space. There's nothing more powerful than that, man. So at the end of the day, when you wake up in the morning, man, like that has to be our home, because whatever we create in that space is our truth. So that's why you can't let anything in it, man. You can't let anything in it to contaminate it, and you, like, that's the place you retreat to when this day is over with, man. We have to go there, but again, that's where the ego meets the Christ, and where two come together, it says that, you know, God said there I will be also. I'm telling you, brothers, that's our superpower. If you don't know nothing else, man, if you just know about that space, you'll be okay. Because whatever you put in that space, brothers, is what it is, man. It says that he went away. It says he went and sent the multitude away and went up to the mountain by himself to pray. In other words, he went into that sanctum sanctorum to create his reality. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have to go through the whole the recipe spiel and talk about creation. We all know about creation. We all know about what meditation is. We all know the difference between the third and the fifth dimension. We all went through the Kabbalah. We all know that the fifth dimension or the God realm is the only thing that's real. You know, we know that the thoughts put into that God energy to that God frequency is what creates matter. So when it says that it says he separated himself from the people, he separated himself from the disciples, he separated himself from the multitude, and went to that sanctum sanctorum by himself to create a new reality. Brother, this is the one-on-one on how to walk on water, man.